Well, hello out there. I was just talking to a friend of mine, not new to these airwaves, actually. Probably she's been around here from the beginning, as I always state, but she's been around for a long time in my life. Erika Askew, Timko, co-host to the show. She has her own thing going on. I want to say welcome back. Great to have you aboard.
Thanks for having me, David. Always a
Of
pleasure.
course, of course. And for years, this one has been contributing to Kettle Whistle Radio, whether it was Yard Panther, which you could still hear on our outro music, and plenty of sound bites, as well as other bands she's brought on. And she's been a co host more than a few times. My God, I can't count, but you've been around a
Oh,
long time. Thanks for sticking by.
hey, anytime. I'm here for you, bro.
And she is coming to us all the way. Oh, by the way, dig this, the t shirt. Can you read that?
Oh, yeah, cool, sure.
We just had him on. That's Mr. Paul Dillon's band, PMAD, all the way from
Mhm.
Ireland. That was the last episode, kids. Highly recommend it. He is so cool. What a greatest dude in the world. And Erika, we're going to talk about what you do too. And he is a candidate for your show.
Oh, right on. That's always.
Yeah. So, Erika, when you're not with us here, you want to explain to maybe some of the new folks listening what you do?
Well, I do a little puppet show on YouTube called
Um,
Boku's TV, a channel on YouTube where everything is pretty puppet centric. And we're celebrating our 10th season of Fashion Trashin' this year and Boku's TV, which just kicked off February 19th with the first episode. And we should be having weekly episodes here for the next 3 months or so. So that's been pretty exciting, keeping me busy.
that is
Um,
amazing to hear. Amazing to hear.
and you will be on the next episode, David. You and you lovely Ms. D.
The voice work. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. And you were Pee-wee's Playhouse based. I guess that was your inspiration. For me, I guess not necessarily the news on HBO. I don't know where I get this from. I've
Yeah,
been
I
listening to
remember that show.
AM radio since I was a kid. So, but yeah. Now you were, oh my God. Any other guests I should know of, or do you not? You don't usually announce them ahead of time.
Right now, I think, yeah, we're pretty current right now on guests. You guys are coming up, and then I have my next round of invites that just went out. So when I know, you all will know out there as well.
Awesome. And you brought us Abstract Artemis, which was a great show. Great guy.
Oh, that was so much fun. That was a great
How
time.
how much fun was he? How much fun? Oh yeah, and behind me, you see? Can you see this shirt too?
You know what you got there? Oh, is that
Yeah,
another P-Man shirt?
yeah.
Sweet. Oh, it's like the Pepsi
Yeah.
logo. I love it.
That PMAD folks, you can look him up, man. Paul Dillon. Listen to their music. He has a new song out called "Down," which was just released just I guess a couple weeks back. You can find him on Spotify. PMAD's there, and also on Kettle Whistle Radio on Spotify. That's when I don't have my spit screen. I am Spotify. Oh my God. So somebody made a chainsaw douchey recently in the news, but we're not going to talk about that. But how do you make a chainsaw douchey? Oh my God. But
They found a way.
we're not going to go there. I don't care what politics you have. He ruined a chainsaw. um wow. Anyway, so moving on. That's where we are. Like topically, I like to say, when people tune in, oh, so that's what was going on when this was going on.
Oh, the
Um
big news this week, too. Did you hear about Lynn Marie Stewart? Miss Yvonne passed away from Pee Wee's Playhouse.
oh my God. No, and today Gene Hackman,
Gene Hackman,
whole
too.
family, and it's
And
suspicious.
Michelle Trachtenberg. It's been a big week this week.
The Trachtenberg thing is what happened with her?
I'm not sure exactly. I heard that she might have had some pre-existing conditions.
Hmm.
Something about liver transplant. So
Oh,
I don't
damn.
know if that played a role in it or not. But oh, she was so young. Awesome. Remember
Very,
her on The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
of course. Her voice was also the voice of a lot of paranormal shows I used to watch.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, she did a lot of those ghost shows as just a voice. I don't think she actually appeared in them. Uh,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
she
but
was like 39,
oh, that's insane.
just a
And
kid.
Gene Hackman, though. Now
Oh, that Gene Hackman story is weird.
that, yeah, this it's suspicious. The dog, his wife, they found them. The door was open. It's been 2 weeks. What?
Mummified.
Oh my God. I just can't.
Yeah.
What's
A
going
lot of
on?
words with that. I was like, say what?
Oh, wow.
Heavy.
we're gonna turn this thing around. And I say that because you have a milestone right now, today, a couple days ago, for everybody listening right now. You want to talk about Devo-Ted?
Oh, it was really cool. This record label, Holy Crap Records, were kind enough to have my puppety little one-man band project, Party Bulb. Um, there's a song that I do called Defecate a Rainbow that ended up on
Yeah.
this Devo-Ted CD or music sampler, which was pretty exciting. Yeah, I had absolutely no idea. And the other day, yeah, I got a knock on the door and it's UPS, and I open it up, and lo and behold, there's a CD and a zine and a sticker and all kinds of cool stuff from them. So cool record label, cool CD sampler, music sampler. I think you can find it on Spotify.
Yes.
So definitely check
That's
it out, everybody.
I zoomed through the compilation. Now this is music inspired by Devo, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I don't think there's any covers. I think it's just
No, I didn't
everything's
find any.
inspired by Devo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Spotify and under Holy Crap Records, like Erika just said. And your song again, Defecated Rainbow, hilarious. I listened to every song on it, and it's fun. That's a fun album.
It's a really fun album. Yeah, people just like took the reins and had a good time with it. So
I
yeah,
talked to
really, really stoked and really, thankful to be a part of that project.
congratulations. I mean, you deserve it.
Thanks, man.
That's amazing. I think you're kind of,
Thank you.
I don't know if you know how to take it just yet.
Hey, I'm honored, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was just kind of a shock, really. So pretty
Well, listen,
stoked about that.
go through. I'm telling everybody, go to Spotify and listen to Devo dash TED Devo Ted on Holy Crap Records. I guess and it's for a good cause. You said for OD awareness.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you pay for it, folks, it's going to a good cause. Um, Two. Now Yard Panther, I wanted to ask you because we still play it here. Is there going to be more of that in your future, or is that something on the down low right now?
I mean, you never know what the future holds right now. We're pretty much on a hiatus, really.
Right.
Once the pandemic hit, we kind of found ourselves without a jam space, and they just became a little bit harder to like get together to jam like we used to. Because I used to live in this three-bedroom house. We had a whole jam room, so Jess and I would get together and be like, "Hey, man, let's go jam, knock a couple jams out in the jam room." And but it's not so easy anymore. Now you actually have to like synchronize swatches and get together on each other's schedules and haul all your stuff, and we're just kind of not there right now. So but who's there's no saying what could happen in the future, though. We
Well,
always said that that's the nice thing about Yard Panther is since we're sisters, it's like we'll never break up, we'll just take hiatuses.
okay. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. Cheers to that. In music news, I heard a little bit today and a little bit earlier, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, you being in the Kiss Army. Now, admittedly, I'm an Ace Frehley fan. I am in the Slayer Battalion. I'm not in the Kiss Army. However, you know about the Sons, right? Evan
Well,
Stanley, Nick Simmons have a band together.
that's funny, I just saw that this afternoon. Yeah,
Okay. And
Powerhouse.
it's not douchey. It's good.
I haven't listened to it yet, so I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad it's not douchey.
Yes, coming from me, that means
Excellent.
a lot. Yeah. It's quite frankly good.
Good.
Alice in Chains ish. Like going back
Ooh,
to like the SAP days, no excuses after that, Jar of Flies, that period. But
that sounds
I
right up my
don't
alley.
I don't think there might be acoustic. I don't know. What I heard was more of a got me wrong type thing.
Cool.
But a little heavier. They have really if they're both singing, they have amazing harmony. Again, the son of Paul Stanley and the son of Gene Simmons. And I believe it was Nick Simmons what was it? His band opened for Kiss, Amber Wild. I haven't heard that yet.
No, neither of them.
But I did hear this is more interesting. This is going to get this is going to surprise you, actually. Are going to sit back for a moment. They did a version of The Sound of Silence. Okay. And
Okay.
and it's good.
Oh, and it's good.
It's good. It's good. Simon and Garfunkel. I mean, I'll bet Simon is just like, wow, and Garfunkel's like, what the fuck? Still, it's really good. It's really good.
Right
Um,
on.
I couldn't turn it off, so that means it's good. Um, Very surprising. Yeah, give them a shot. I don't know what are they calling themselves? Because Amber Wild was the one guy's band. I don't know if they have a name together yet. That remains to be seen. But
Something to keep
yeah,
our eyes on there.
exactly, exactly. I've been on a deep dive lately with going back to 70s stuff. I still stick with my metal, of course, but I've been digging deep to my first days before MTV was big in New York. We had a station that played these random videos, and you're gonna laugh at me. Supertramp,
Oh no, Secret Sam's legit.
right? And I know
Yeah.
that the band they were plagued with problems through the years. I don't know anything about it. It's probably publishing or somebody, sleeping with somebody's girlfriend or something stupid like that. I got to do my digging on that. I just like the music. So I've been on a deep dive listening to them, Goodbye Stranger, the logical song, of course, everybody knows that, Breakfast in America, and Take the Long Way Home has always been a favorite. Just how do you not sing that?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But like music news, I got something else for you too. This is a little weird, more
Ooh.
weird, more weird. Since we're talking compilations and Devo-Ted, folks, go find that on Spotify. If you're a Devo fan, you got to get there. And they're touring. I have a friend going to see them in May, so we're going to get more on that later, and we'll talk more about Devo. But something weirder than that happened, Erika. Something stranger than that happened.
Ooh, I like weird and strange. Tell me more, David.
Yes. Okay. So I'm listening to Eddie Trunk because he holds the torch for all things hard rock and metal. To ad nauseum. I mean, to the point where I sometimes feel bad. But he had on today Danny Filth of Cradle of Filth.
Yeah.
Okay, and who ends up being a really charming guy and hilarious. Okay, um, and I saw them at Ozfest, like, oh, out, vampires out in the hot sun. It makes a lot of sense. And where, 3 layers of leather and they're melting their makeup, but they pulled it out, whatever. Well,
Yeah.
Danny Filth, who is absolutely hysterical, did a collaboration that we're not going to hear till this time next year, but did a song with Ed Sheeran. Oh,
Oh, that's an odd pairing, isn't it?
it's beyond.
Wonder how that happened.
Well, they go into it. Basically, I guess Ed Sheeran showed up at the studio with a Cradle of Filth hoodie on after Danny Filth was texting him for like 2 years, something about getting together, hanging out, and doing something. Well, Ed Sheeran showed up alone. Not like, in America with, the posse that would show up with somebody, because we're ridiculous. He showed up alone, knocked on the door, and ends up in Cradle of Filth's studio, and they do a song together. And Eddie Trunk asked him, what what does it sound like?
Yeah, yeah.
Erika, what do you think it sounds like? Just off the hook, what do you think that sounds like?
That's what I was just wondering. I'm like, are they gonna go more the Ed Sheeran route, or are they gonna go more the Cradle of Filth route, or are they gonna combine forces and make something new and confusing?
Cradle of Sheeran, uh, Filthy Edward. It's
I like
actually
that.
what
Filthy Ed.
Filthy Ed. That's yours. You use that. That's your next
That's your
EP.
next character, David.
Yeah. Hey, Party Bulb's got an EP, and I bought it. And you're gonna hear it, folks. Once we're done talking, we're gonna bring in our next guest because we got a few things going on here today. But what it sounds like, back to Danny and Eddie. This is Danny Filth. He says it sounds like everything you want from Cradle of Filth and everything you want from Ed Sheeran.
Okay. Well, that checks out.
Nothing. Does it? It doesn't matter.
Still, I don't know what to expect.
Does
So,
anything
hey, they're keeping
matter?
us on our toes, huh?
I can toes. Speaking of toes, yeah, I got my slippers on right now, man.
Oh, nice. What kind
Yeah,
of slippers you got there?
they're plaid with Bigfoot on them. Yeah,
Oh,
I do those
stop.
things, but yes, yes. So folks, yeah, that's not why we brought here. That's not why we're here today. Okay, we got this comic book artist coming on. DM, as in capital D, capital M, Ray, Ray. He goes by Ray, Erika. You can call him that. He created this comic book called the MADCAPS. Now, whether you're into comic books or not, Eric, I showed you the artwork, right? You saw that.
Oh, incredible artwork in that
It pops,
comic
right?
book. Yeah, colors look great, illustrations look great. It's an interesting story.
Yeah, it is. He brought
It's
drugs
got it
into
all.
it. D&D and drugs. DD&D is what that is.
Yeah,
Um,
I was like Lord of the Rings with Army of Darkness with
hmm, nice.
what is that? Breaking Bad.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
A little bit something in there for everyone.
And I like that we're speculating before he comes on
I
because
know, I know.
what
That's I have questions
questions,
or
many,
question, I should say.
many questions. Yeah. But this thing pops. I mean, the book,
Oh,
it's
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 great.
32 pages long, and he's gonna tell us about it. Issue 2 has a Kickstarter, and I think it's gonna pull through. I mean, it's gonna look marvelous. I told him I need physical copies of this because I'm a collector and I love just having the thing in my hands. That's just who I
Mm.
am. I think you kind of are to a degree musically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like a good graphic novel as well. Can't go wrong with that.
I didn't know that. Okay, cool. What actually, what are you listening to these days? Anything new? Because you gave me a good lead on our next guest we might be talking to.
Yeah. I've been really into a lot of bands from Australia recently.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, Amyl and the Sniffers.
I do know them. I
Oh,
do
they're
know them.
so much fun.
They
Just a
are a
fun throwback punk rock in your face.
I
Really
love it.
been enjoying them a lot.
It
They're
is
coming to town here in Austin in I think April with another great band. Sheer Mag is going on tour with them. I'm gonna try to make it out to that because that is the two heavy hitters all in one right there.
Sheer Mag. I'm not familiar with.
Sheer Mag's really great. They're out of Philadelphia. They're
Okay.
kind of like a 70s throwback,
Oh, oh,
jangly rock and roll.
bell
Uh,
bottoms.
Tina Halliday, who sings for Sheer Mag, she's been on Fashion Trashing before, and she was great.
Oh man, we got to get them.
Yeah, that was what I think 2020. If you watch the Up Down Left Right Festival 2020,
Oh,
she did a guest
I love that one. That was a great
voiceover.
episode. Great episode.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
was cool. Yeah, with the pandemic and everything, got her on the show, so that was rad. But
Pandemic was
other than that, I've been listening to this band also from Australia called Gum. It's a guy Jay Watkins and Ambrose Kenny Smith from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are doing kind of like an electronic rock and roll thing. That's a lot of fun. They just put out a record last summer, so and they keep adding new singles to it, which is interesting. And everyone that comes out is just
mhm.
a real banger. So I've really been enjoying that.
That's a
Um,
thing. That's a
yeah,
thing. Putting out single
yeah,
after single after single. PMAD, Paul Dillon, he did the same thing. Keep putting the singles
yeah.
out. Put they
Keeping those
still
singles out.
he put CDs out too, man. Yeah, I got some sitting here. But yeah, like they put single like bands have been putting almost their entire album out as singles because
Yeah,
Spotify and getting the streaming, I understand why they do it, you know.
yeah, yeah. Hey, why not just go for it and just keep releasing stuff?
You got my attention with those two bands. I think we need to get them on
Yeah.
here. But you turned me on to somebody else too, who I have to call him. And
Oh,
that's
Tony, Crush
my
Diamond.
Tony, yeah, Crush Diamond, right?
Yeah, they're awesome.
And they
Those
did
guys have been a
some
part. They did a song "Iterate," which I kind of morphed into the Fashion Trash and Halloween second theme song, I'll say.
right.
But super cool dudes, great music, just electronic, but like live electronic. Like Tony plays the drums instead of a drum machine.
Well, I
They
like
got a
that.
guitarist, keyboardist, but yeah, they're super cool. They have a bunch. Speaking of bands with a bunch of singles, they have a bunch of singles too that you can
Yeah, I
find
know.
anywhere: Spotify, Bandcamp, all that.
I
So
did
definitely
see
check
that.
that out too, everybody.
Well, we're hoping to get them on. We want it, it's Tony, right? Tony,
Tony, yeah,
yeah,
he's a good
Crush
guy.
Diamond. And I just wonder, are they in the fellowship of Gary Newman? Is that where they come from? Like, is that like synth pop
So
type?
I'd say that's in the family tree there.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to see Gary Newman still kicking it too.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
You know who
Um,
else is still doing it? And we're probably going to see this spring too. Billy Idol
I know. I know he's touring.
with
God
Joan
bless the
Jett.
guy. God
I
bless
might
the
have to do that. Might have to.
Well, I wanted to see Devo, and like I said, our
Yeah.
buddy Johnny Ellenberger, aka Johnny Daggers, he's going in May, and I'm a
Oh,
little
cool.
jealous. I did see Devo once at Lollapalooza. They were amazing.
Now, are they playing in Pittsburgh or are they playing around?
Oh, he's going to see them. Oh, shoot. I want to say he's in Maryland, but I'm not sure where. He's going to a place called the Anthem. I'm not
Okay.
familiar with it, but that might be in Maryland. I might not be. Don't hold me to it. Not familiar with those venues
Um,
in Maryland. Yeah. But the Anthem is a classic place apparently to see them, so he's going. I'm happy
oh,
for him.
cool.
Speaking of synth pop, not Devo, but synth pop, um, Danny, back to Danny Filth. They Eddie Trunk asked him how he got into metal because before metal he was listening to Culture Club and Ultravox, like nothing like
Okay.
nothing like what he's doing. And then he heard Iron Maiden, Power Slave, and the rest was history. We all have our story how we went metal and
Our gateway.
gateway drugs. There's so many. We did a whole show
Yeah.
on gateway drugs to metal, and that's a funny one. But yeah, that's documented.
Awesome.
Oh man. But yeah, our guy DM Ray should be coming in very soon. We're gonna be talking the MADCAPS, one word, well, the and MADCAPS. And it
Huh.
is a quest, it appears to be a quest comic book D&D type adventure. And we'll get into detail with him. This is actually my first time meeting him. We've talked online quite a bit. And
Oh,
being a connoisseur of the comic book world, it'll be interesting to get inside his head. Not sure where he's located. That's something usually I ask because
yeah.
I might be waking him up at 5
I
a.m. I don't
wonder where we'll have to find out.
know. Yeah. Like, wake up, get on the show. Oh my God. So
Alaska?
what else is going on? Any other music news you got going on?
Let's see. Actually, I just found out about an artist new to me. Apparently, the song was from 2013, I think, but it's a gal named Jessica Leah Mayfield. Might be Lee, looks like Leah, but she does the song called Pure Stuff. And it is such a 90s throwback, just kind of like that indie kind of sound to it. I actually, when I heard it on the radio the other day, I had to go ahead and like look it up. So, what am I listening to? Like, when is this from? Is this modern? Is this from the 90s? And yeah, it turns out I think it was like 2013 or 2014, but I heard this single and I was pretty blown away by it. So, I'm starting to get into some of her stuff.
That sounds
Um,
interesting right there.
yeah, cool stuff. Pure Stuff is the name of the song. Jessica Leah Mayfield. So, check that out, everybody.
I'm starting to wonder if I did hear that. Just the song and not knowing who it was. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been diving deep into so many bands lately. My dude, my tentacles are out there wrapping around looking for people to come onto this show. I got so many bands that I want on that I confuse myself who I contacted.
Oh,
And
another good like 90s kind of I think they're a little bit newer, but Wolf Alice, have you heard of them?
uh, yes,
Female
yes,
female singer.
I
So good.
had.
I really like them a lot too, kind of carrying that grunge torch.
Ooh, ooh, that's right. Speaking of Grunge Torch, I told you about Dandy, our buddy Dandy Brown, and the new album Lorquin's Admiral.
Yes.
And you heard the song, which we are going to probably. I'm thinking
Ooh,
we're gonna go out with it today because it's pretty
oh,
badass.
playing it tonight.
I don't know. I'm thinking about, you know what? We may just go out with that right now before we
Ooh,
come in, before our guest comes in. And
surprise.
yeah, yeah. I think we're going to do that. And as for Party Bulb, I was leaving that up to you. I was going
Yeah.
to open with it or I was going to close the entire show with it. Where are you
Mm, let's
with?
close it.
All right. So Party Bulb,
Close it up.
this is Erika Askew Timko. This is her band, which will be on the compilation, the music inspired by Devo-Ted, Devoted. You'll hear that at the end of the show. But Lorquin's Admiral, Dandy Brown, and his wife, They have you met them? Have you had when they were the Fizz Fuzz?
No, I haven't met them. No, I think me and Dandy are Facebook friends,
I
but
know you are,
we haven't
yeah.
met formally. Yeah.
Yeah, Dandy and Dawn Brown. Dawn sings inexplicable things, and it's an amazing song. You liked it, right?
Yeah, I think they're great.
Yeah, we're gonna do that just before our guest comes on, I think.
Yeah.
And
Looking for them.
yeah, we'll do that. I think, and you know what, folks, you should be excited because if you were around during the grunge period or you missed it, you're about to get right back into it with this song. I would say it's kind of grunge period friendly.
Get hyped. Yeah.
What do you think? I'm asking you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on there, Dave.
It's heavy and melodic at the same time, and it's got just the right amount of fuzz to sound good.
Those
I
are some of the best tunes right there.
I,
Heavy, melodic, fuzz.
I
What more? What more could you want?
crunch is good. Yeah, I like
Zing, pep,
Zay
punch.
off the rails.
Start
We're
coming
off
up with
the
more
rails.
onomatopoeias for you people.
You know what, too? I do have to apologize to the folks too out there and the fiends and some of the friends. Not a lot of horror lately because we've had a lot of other artists lately. We're gonna get back into it. Don't worry.
We'll get back.
Um, yeah, man. I'm reading some books. We're gonna have some authors on. I just confirmed a couple. But music's been big of late. It seems rock is kind
Mhm.
of back. If you look for it, don't look for it at your Grammys. Don't look for it on the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
However, I'm very happy about the Led Zeppelin, becoming Led Zeppelin documentary. I'm very happy about the Sabbath in Birmingham show, which may not actually be Sabbath, but there's a lot of
Mhm.
people showing up. A lot of people showing up.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I have some hope and faith. All right, looks like our guest is coming in here. We're gonna go right. I'm gonna say go out, but we're going in between with Lorquin's Admiral. Okay, that is the new Danny Brown, Dawn Brown project, and you're going to hear inexplicable things right now, and then we're gonna get in with DM Ray, our comic book dude. And
Yeah.
Erica, thank you so much for being here, Erica.
Hey, thanks for having me, David. I appreciate it.
See, it's not too torturous to be here. God,
Not at all. It's always a blast. A
freaking
pleasure.
my producers are staring at me now. I don't know if you know this, but the dogs, man, Benny and Jet, you could hear them rattling around. But yeah, what? All right, I gotta go. We'll be back, and we'll be back with DM Ray and the MADCAPS comic. Maybe.
All right.
You have to
I'm with
bear.
the dogs real quick. I probably got to go make a little outside trip myself, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I understand. No
All
problem.
right, I'll be right back. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
Okay, folks, friends, and fiends, welcome back. You just heard Lorquin's Admiral, and that was in its inexplicable things. Like I said, you'll hear more from that later. Right now, we got our guest. Okay, I got DM Ray, as we've been talking behind his back before he got on. Meet him there. You could see him. You could say anything, say hi's, and they'll see you.
Hello.
There
Hello.
you go.
Hello.
And Erika's with me right now. We were talking about the MADCAPS, your amazing comic book.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Cool stuff, man.
Thank
Amazing.
you. I'm
Yes.
really excited. This is the first time I've written a comic ever.
Oh, really? That
Wow.
was one of my
Yes.
That's
questions.
awesome.
Totally.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm really enjoying the process because it's not my day job. I take my time and I'm very patient and careful. And I just want to make sure that what I make, it's up to people to decide whether it's good or not. I'm not aiming for it to be the best. I'm aiming for it to be something worthy of the comic industry. That was been my goal this whole time. So that's where it
Well,
stands at the moment.
sir, you made a giant leap ahead. I've been in, oh my God, for so long. And I mean, I have some publications out myself. And what you're doing, I know, is not a cheap process. And it doesn't look like you're sparing any expense. I just, I would say I was asking Erica, how like what kind of synopsis. I'm looking at like D&D meets sci-fi with a drug arc meets superheroes. But man, how do you go about pitching this? What's your pitch when you tell somebody what it's about?
Well, the easiest way to put it all together. So first thing you got to know, it's a 3-issue miniseries, and the whole thing takes place over one night. The synopsis, I guess, or the plot, the best way to throw it all together is four friends meeting at their hometown. Uh, their reunion's interrupted by what appears to be some type of undead outbreak, and after staving that off, they're led to believe that it has something to do with the local drug problem. And the adventure goes from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Erica, what did you say? You even said it a little bit of Breaking Bad in there.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings meets Army of Darkness meets Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Little
I
something for
wouldn't.
everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with all of those. I would have never considered, especially the Army of Darkness. As soon as you said that, yeah, that totally makes sense. Basically, it's the whole story. I get, just put it this way. I'm sure every human being, the older they get, the less they get to see their friends for responsibilities. Be it like I moved across province or across country rather to a different province here in Canada almost half my life ago, and I left family, friends, and everything else. And even though I carved out a life for myself here, I've been very fortunate. It is also very there's parts of me that still long for that level of friends that I have. So this book, it's based off of the first homebrew D&D campaign I ever ran.
Mm.
And the main difference is I took all the characters that the players were playing as out and I replaced them with characters I made up based off of the players. So I kind of did an inverse of that. So
Mm.
this book, the sole thing is about camaraderie. So you're everybody has friends. If you haven't seen them for a while, there's going to be a time where you do get to meet up, and even if it's for a handful of minutes, you actually feel recharged. So this book is actually an homage to that level of camaraderie.
That's the best thing I've heard in writing in a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and it's been depicted in Stranger Things, of course,
Yes.
and before that, Stephen King's It, how you friends grow and evolve together. And but yes, you lose that. Erica and I have not physically been in the same place. Erica, how long has it been?
Over 10 years now.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And we were pretty
Yeah.
close. I mean, she lived around the block, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and we've known each other, what, nearly 20, and yeah,
yeah.
10 of those we haven't seen one another.
So we are your point in case. And she was also in a punk band that played our parties in our
Oh, very
basement
cool.
here. So, yeah, yeah. So
Fun.
we go back some Foxy Death Box.
Yeah,
It was
we
fun.
sure do, buddy.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
relatable.
So Ray, you definitely are bringing it back. And you know what, too? I have a thread with college friends, and you're right. When you tune back in there, you could say something stupid, and everybody chimes in. Where
Yes.
you say that at work, you get fired.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of truth there, that's for
A
sure.
lot of truth. But oh, you already answered my question, and I love it. I knew this was based on a D&D campaign. I just knew it.
Yes.
I after you said it, and you told me DM stands for Dungeon Master, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a
It's
geek.
time.
I'm not afraid to say that I'm still geeked out playing D&D, but we do it old school. We don't do it
Mhm.
online, but you have a neat little thing that you do. But yeah, my first book I ever wrote was based on a campaign, 400 pages on a campaign that was
Oh, wow.
successful in college. And it was so much fun creating it with these guys I'm still in touch with. Now,
Very cool.
are you still in touch with these people that became your characters, or are
Oh,
they
absolutely.
okay?
Absolutely.
And these are your
All
Oh,
friends?
great.
yeah, all four characters are based off of people I know. Yes.
That's awesome. Oh man,
Oh,
who's
that's
my
great.
favorite? Who's the draconian Melodrakis?
Oh, Madrakis. Okay,
Madrakis.
so obviously, I don't want to get sued by Hasbro. I made up different races. You could see some
Yeah, 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 yeah.
similarities, but Madrakis is he's actually a descendant of a large kaiju-like electric eel that lives out in the oceans.
Badass.
And yeah, you can't in his language. You can't even humans have a hard time pronouncing his race. The
Hmm.
easiest way a human can pronounce it is WE''RE. When you pronounce that, that's the closest a human but can pronounce it, but it doesn't actually quite do it. There's running gags like that in other series and shows. It's not intended as a gag. I just wanted it to sound very foreign.
Yeah.
Madrakis,
Yeah.
I think. Do you guys have? You brought up Madrakis first. Is he your favorite?
I love reptilian creatures. Wait, I'm about to prove that.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got a thing. Well, here's one right here. Here's Sanskar. You may
Oh,
remember him from.
cool.
That's
That's
just
He-Man,
one.
yeah?
No, no, this is from Spawn.
Oh,
Um,
apologies. Yes.
that's quite all right, man. Wait, I got more, but I can't get to all of them right now. I could kill you with all kinds of reptilian creatures. I have a thing for them.
Right
As a
on.
matter of fact, my next book
Right.
revolves around such things. Um, Here's where you're smarter than me, Ray, by far. When I wrote that first book, I used terms like draconians, orcs. I used all the terms you're not supposed to use when it's your own. So someday, maybe I have to go back and change all those names. And check this out. My main villain's name, last name Stark. My
Stark.
hero, this is 1992.
Yeah, yeah.
Kyler Raven. Kyler Raven. Too close to Kylo Ren. Can't
Ren.
use
Oh,
that anymore. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
So I'm out. But
Well,
yeah,
names are an easy thing to change. Um, One thing I had a lot of fun doing, and I'm glad this happened, it was a stretch goal for the first issue, is we were able to insert biographies of all four characters at the end. One of the podcasts I was on not too long ago, I was actually teased in a nice way that I put those at the end, and then I was told the person wished that it was at the start, so now they had to go back and read it. And I kind of joked, it's almost like I did that on purpose. You got to read it twice now.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
nice.
gotcha. Now you got to go back and read it.
Well, I know that
That's cool.
you're doing a Kickstarter for issue 2, and I hope you're
Yes,
very successful because I cannot wait
thank you.
to read 2 and 3. I'm
Yeah.
sure I know it's going to happen. You getting a lot of support for this?
Last time, I got 79 backers. I got a decent amount of coin. I don't, so this isn't my day job, and so I'm not depending on Kickstarter for this. The first comic I did, the first issue, it was all done before I threw it on Kickstarter. I just wanted to make this cool thing. I wasn't dependent on other people to pay me to make it. And for this second one, we had a little bit of a hiccup. Our interior artist, we've resolved the issue since then, but he was going through the issues with the LA fires, so he had to be on hold
Oh,
while I
Oh
was
my
waiting for
God.
this all to happen. Fortunately, that's all resolved. He's okay. He's nice and safe, and
yeah.
the ink he's throwing down is terrific.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
colorist is Dan Kemp, and if you don't know that name, you used a Spawn character. Dan Kemp colored every issue from issue basically 50 to 150.
Are you
Wow.
kidding?
I kid you not, that's the same artist. So if you look on the cover of that main cover Jimbo Salgado drew,
Yeah.
if you see Jimbo, I believe it's near the bottom left of the image, you'll see a D with 3 dots. Now that you have an eye for it, if you look through Spawn covers, you'll see that very same insignia.
That's
Oh,
very
cool.
familiar. I have all those issues, man. I
Right
have,
on.
yeah, I all the ones he's done. That's crazy.
Yeah, Dan started coloring for Todd in I believe 41 or 42, but he was the main colorist basically by 50. Steve
Wow.
Olaf
Yeah.
was the main colorist before him.
Oh my God. I can't believe it. That's incredible. That's great. And I did
Yeah,
not know
bravo.
this. I didn't know this, after, grabbing my Spawn, Sanskar action figure here. That's amazing to me. I was going to ask you where you got these folks from. And now you said you've never written a comic before, but what have you written before?
Well, that's the funny thing. I've only written my notes as a dungeon master. So I kind of have I'm going to put it I'm going to phrase it as unorthodox training. I've prepped I've prepped and made sure dialogue was presentable, and obviously I have to improv and stuff too. But because I already played this story out, in a lot of cases, it was me just reciting things that already happened. I had to pretty it up, and you're using panels, so you have to show and not tell in a lot of cases, which I actually enjoy a lot more, to be honest. Um, but in regards to that, my only writing would be like professional emails or writing as a kid in high school for language arts or English class, whatever you want to call it. Other than that, nothing really of nothing worth noting. I'll put it that way.
Oh man, being a dungeon master, I know that's laughable to some people, but the fact that what you wrote, you have everything has to be reactionary. You have to be able to interact with it. You have to make action and motion with words, and you're writing a screenplay while you're writing the campaign.
Yes.
And when it comes together and you see people having a good time, getting heated in battle and yelling at each other, throwing dice at each other and clocking each other, it's like, yeah, man. Or I never say, you know what, folks? I say, I would never say to drink and play D&D with people you don't know because it can get very heated.
Monopoly, Risk, D&D. There's certain games that if you want to ruin a friendship. Have you ever
Yeah.
played Magic the Gathering?
No, that was right after me.
Mm,
That came around. How about you, Erica? That's your time
mm.
period.
No, I can't say I have.
So
But people,
there's different like colors for different specializations in Magic.
yeah.
I haven't played it too much, but there's one color that everybody you either like blue or you hate blue, and people that hate blue, they refer to like blue magic as like ruining friendships. It's like the monopoly of
Oh,
Magic the Gathering.
I'm learning stuff.
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, the pages pop out at you. It made my week because I was having a really crappy week, and I just decided to sit down and read the whole thing one night. And usually it takes me. I just don't have time. You know what it's like to have time. We're talking about
Right.
day jobs and everything else. I didn't expect like it to be as brilliant as it was, and like you said, it just naturally flowed. And I'm glad to hear it's only 3 issues. So is this going to be like when it comes to anime, there's a definitive ending, or are you doing story arcs and different
So
issues?
the real answer is I don't know.
Oh,
And
okay.
basically, this is my first time. The fans are the metric, and um, if I'm not enjoying it anymore, I don't want to be, well, I've got 5 issues to go when I'm not liking it. That would be bad for anybody that's waiting on the issues, and it would be bad on myself. So I want to do a short and sweet 3 issue miniseries and see how it takes. And after that, I may, we're probably going to go trade paperback. Shout out to my publisher, Philip Russer, to Philbo Publishing. He's just started his own distribution, equivalent to that of Diamond, and but giving the little guy a chance is more or less his angle, giving other people a chance to get into local comic shops.
Wow.
So when it goes to trade paperback, I probably gonna look to get that distributed through Philbo, and that would be really really cool. Um, this
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
definitely.
just a story. It's just an homage, like I said, to friendship. It's a little tip of the hat to my own personal circles of people that I know. And at the end of the day, I I guess the best way to put it is I don't have any pressure behind me, so I'm just taking my time. You could see you mentioned it's more or less it's passion that stands out in the story. It's not like I'm making a monthly quota or something for the readers. It's just fun, and I'm just happy to show people some fun.
I love what
Okay.
everything you said, and Erica and I can relate to it. Because welcome to the Kettle Whistle Radio family. Because yes, giving the little guy a chance, what you said there, that's what we do. I mean, we're not celebrities by any means, but we love putting people up on a pedestal and getting other people to listen to the music or read what they wrote. Or I've had directors and actresses and actors on here too, and you know, some of them go from something to not from nothing to something. We like and Erica, her show, she creates her own sort of Pee Wee experience, Pee Wee Herman show type thing, with fashion trashing. And Erica, you
Interesting.
yourself, yeah, you bring people together left and right.
Well, I think that's like kind of what the show is all about, right? Just sharing things that we are passionate about, and artists and musicians, and sharing it with everybody, you know?
Hmm.
That's very interesting.
Bringing
I'll have to.
bringing people
If you have any
together.
openings, I'm happy to go on for sure.
Oh,
Right
I
on,
predict
yeah.
Erica, what did I say before he came on? I was like, you might have a candidate here for the show.
Look out, Ray.
I'm
Yeah,
in.
do some
We'll get you in there.
I'm
she'll
not
tell you.
stuck in there with you. You're stuck in there with me.
Well,
Erica,
actually, Ray, I do have a question for you here.
there
Now,
you go.
how long did it take you from start to finish? doing this comic?
So that's a solid question. Because I was not in a rush, the first one, I took my time with the interior artist. I started with the interiors, the pencil, the ink, and that was a local fella here also in Winnipeg. So shout out to Evan Quiring. You can find his two main flagship franchise comics are Murder City Devil, which is a take on Spring Hill Jack in a modern time, kind of like an anti-hero setting. He runs into many different cryptids, including the Mothman and other individuals in bad guys throughout history, which is kind of interesting. I made that sound more corny than I intended, but it's actually it's a pretty cool take.
That sounds cool.
Another one is who do we
You
have?
said
Oh,
you said Mothman.
Mothman. There we go. I
Yeah.
thought it was Goliath from Disney's
It's your boy.
Gargoyles for a
Yeah.
second.
I built him.
Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool. And this other one is called Lucha Mysteries, which is all over the place. It's really cool. It has to do with Mexican wrestlers and aliens and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, awesome.
But so those when he finished pencil and inking, I just started looking at talent on social media, and certainly I got a lot of no's. Who am I, right? I'm just a fresh-faced individual in the comic scene, but I got some yeses, and it was very humbling. So Dan Kemp, I didn't read too much Spawn as a kid, but one thing I absolutely loved was Daredevil and Marvel Knights. He colored all of the Marvel Knights, Daredevil #1. You know that iconic one where he's upside down and his feet are tucked in, and
Absolutely.
and his staff. That's Dan's coloring. You could see that D with the 3 dots right on that cover.
Man,
And
I didn't know I was going to have royalty on the show today.
well, I'll let you know when royalty gets here. It's just me, unfortunately, right now.
All right,
But with
man.
that said, there was other talent. Jimbo Salgado, he's done a lot for like Batman Unhinged. He's done like a whole bunch of stuff. And I should have held on to some of my. I've got some of the original art here, but
Ooh, yeah.
um, who else? Harvey Salteras. He did the first year of Ghost Rider Volume 2, where Dan Ketch rather took over as the rider, and Johnny Blaze ended up eventually trying to hunt him down, and then they become buddies and stuff. So if you ever watch Nicolas Cage in the 2
Yeah.
questionable Ghost Rider movies,
Yeah.
that's not the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider look when he transforms. That's actually the Dan Ketch look. One of my covers for issue 1, the guy who designed that Ghost Rider look made a cover for me, and Dan Kemp colored it. So I had an artist that had like the artist of somebody who colored Hellspawns, and then the artist is somebody who essentially drew a different type of Hellspawn, mash and make this really cool cover, which is really cool.
I'm applauding you right now. That you're blowing my mind, kid.
Bravo.
Another for issue 1, I had a variant cover of, you mentioned Madrakis. There's one that's hand painted by a fellow named John Zalesnik. John Zalesnik, he has painted, let's see here, the original cover art to the NES Shinobi cartridge. That's him. Warhammer 40K, Magic the Gathering. He's done a whole bunch of various. He's all over. And excuse me, I was born in like the early mid '80s, so all of these names I've just mentioned, they've passively had some type of influence on my childhood. So for them to now contribute to stuff that I just made up in my head, it's the equivalent. I've said this on another podcast. It's the equivalent of having like Kurt Cobain sing a song you wrote. That's the equivalent.
Yeah, we both got chills just then. Damn. Wow.
Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Heavy hitters.
Seriously.
Yeah. I'm definitely content. We'll put it that way.
Erika, what kind of voice work are you gonna give this guy?
Well, time will tell.
Voice work.
Yeah, her show. You could easily be the voice of a puppet if you can do. If you are you good at Muppet voices?
Like Mr. Bill? Oh no! Like that kind of stuff.
That stuff works
You're
too.
hired, Ray.
I knew it.
Well, I have fun with voices. Being a dungeon master, of course, right? You got to be all
Yeah,
the
character, yeah.
various difference.
Yeah, you got to bring out some drama sometimes. I know
Yes.
that. Yeah, keep it interesting. I make him drink and eat weird shit sometimes too. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes play physical games. There might be feats of strength involved.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah, it
love
gets
it.
little involved, but you don't need to know that. Question: when you were developing this, and again, I have some comic books under my belt, and Demon Eye, Erika's familiar with. We'll get into that, and Dr. Peeler. But did you run into any? Oh yeah, and I'm sorry, World Zombie Wrestling Association. If I don't mention that, that's where I
Deadly.
cut my
The
teeth.
OG.
Yeah, I cut my teeth on that one. But did you run into a conflict with your contributors, your artists, something you guys didn't agree on, or did you guys just fall in?
Well, for the first issue, what I ended up doing, again, this is I understood the concept of making a comic. When I was a kid, I loved comics so much I drew them myself,
There you go.
and my mother found a comic course which I took for one winter season. It was a lot of fun. Everything you just said there, I consider myself, my friends make this joke that I'm pragmatically paranoia. And because of that, there's certain things I didn't want to leave up for interpretation. So when I wrote the story, every page I described every panel, and then I would, on a whiteboard, I would just draw stickmen equivalent of every panel. I would send it to, in this case, Evan. Then I would disclaim, this is my first time at this rodeo. It is not yours. If you feel there's something worth improving upon, maybe these two panels would look better as one, or you know what, at this for this panel you need it more dynamic. Try it from this perspective. Don't be shy to try it. And between that balance of the disclaimer and the excessive detail, we got some cool stuff from it. And there were times I did have to massage my dialogue just because of how the panels shifted and stuff. But with that said, I was very happy with the outcome. That I'd say that would be the biggest challenge right there. Other than that, it's been pretty smooth, and I think the main reason for that is I'm taking my time. There's no rush on my end, and therefore it's just developing how I want as opposed to me just trying to force it to work.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, organic.
Yes.
Do you give your artists like freedom to, like, when you say for instance, in my case, like, I need a spaceship, and I let them do it. I don't even tell them, because I'm not good at mecha and things like that. Do you say like the armor looks like this, or do you let them just do it?
Well, I'll give you an example. For one of the variant covers for issue two, it's I believe I sent that to you in chats. You know the one where it shows the side profile of Chasgo and he's got his pat on his shoulder.
I do.
So that one, um, the bird's name is Emek. Emex rather. It's first debuted in issue two. That's why I wanted to have a cover with Emex on it.
Ah, cool.
Jay drew 7 different mock-ups of a potential cover, and he said just pick one. And the one I decided on, I was on the fence between two, and I picked a bunch of brains, and eventually I went with the one that you see there. And the even just the emotion that's conveyed from the way he's sitting, you don't know if he's lonely, wants solitude, or is just milling about his thoughts with his pet that coincidentally is on like his upper back, just hanging out. Another interesting thing about that bird is I said I need an albino bird with 3 eyes. So Jay was the first one to draw this bird, so that set the pace for what the bird looked like. And it's an albino crow. If you zoom in on that image, you can see the third eye right in the middle of Ted.
Cool.
That is so cool. And you have trailers. I'm going to ask you about that. Ironically, Erika designed my trailer for Demon Eye, which is phenomenal. I'm still very proud of that, Eric, and I put it up every once in a while. It's on my
Right
page,
on.
right on fairlydarkproductions.com. You can see it. She did a trailer. I never thought of a trailer for a comic book ever, and she introduced the idea, and then she just did it, and it's amazing. Um,
Oh.
Yeah,
flatter me. Thank you. Glad
yeah.
you like it. Yeah.
I may have to call you out on another one sometime, but we'll see. And now you can you explain your trailers because I watched them, but can you? I haven't one on my page right now, but I'm gonna put them both up.
Okay, so basically my process for making this happen.
Hmm.
Okay, so um, I've played D&D with a couple of pros. So in California, there's some professional voice actors, and I
Oh,
have a
okay.
little mini circle there, a little bit of a network. One of them, her name is Brooke Eiler. So for the main trailer, for the issue one, I wanted her to read a script. And I said, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I don't want to be too cliche. And I said, disclaimer, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. But with that said, I don't want to be too cliche, but I really liked the opening monologue with Kate Blanchett in Fellowship of the Ring. It's
Hmm.
calm,
Mm.
sobering, intense. It's very
Yes.
serious, and it seems to eerily capture a couple of different moods that seem to contrast. And I mean, she ended up going that route. But with that said, it wasn't. All I needed to say was basically what's said in the trailer. Just there's here's some individuals. This is what's going on. Will they survive the night? That's essentially the entire message. And there's some teasing images, but I don't really reveal too much either. So I was really happy. I put the only thing I didn't do with that trailer is I didn't make the music. I got royalty free music for that, and Brooke's voice, but the rest I put together myself.
Her voice and the music perfect together. Erica, you didn't get to watch that yet, did you?
No, I didn't see that. Yeah,
That's
no,
my
I gotta
fault.
check it out.
Yeah, I didn't send it to you. It's excellent. It draws you right in. I loved it. And Eric, do you have a question for him? I cut you off.
Oh no, no, all good, man.
Okay. I wanted to ask you how well it was received. Have you been to conventions and sat there and met people and showed it to them? Like, how was it received?
So life in Winnipeg is as soon as you go on the outskirts, the populations dwindle significantly.
I do know that. I've talked to a lot of you folks, actually.
What do you
Yes.
mean that's a bad joke.
I know I'm
But
gonna be on. I'm gonna be on a Canadian podcast next month. So yeah, I do. I
right
know
on.
folks.
Which podcast is that?
Dark Light, I believe. The guy's
I
name
don't
is
think I know.
Rick Hipson is the guy.
I'll have to look into
I
him
don't
and
know all
say
the
hi.
deets yet. I think, in a sense, I think he found me. I'm not sure, but nice
Right
guy.
on.
I actually, when I started this thing, lots of Canadians, actually Canadian girls were on here quite a bit. Lydia Peever's an author I had on here quite a bit. But anyway,
I went to school in Canada. I went to school in Toronto.
You went to
yeah,
school in Toronto?
I did. Yeah, I went to makeup school in Toronto for a year. I loved living up there.
Yeah, well, Toronto is an interesting beast. It's very, very different from the rest of Canada. I mean, it's in
Yeah.
its even in the province, it's in Ontario. It's the further north you go, the less and less it's like Toronto. It's a very interesting. I don't want to use the word phenomenon, but I guess that's the only thing that I can apply there. I used to live in southern Ontario. I ended up moving out west. I live in Winnipeg now.
Yeah.
I
We're in
really like
Southern Ontario.
Wayne Gretzky's hometown,
hey,
Brantford.
Okay, right on.
And I really like the cold, so I'm really happy I moved to what I like to call Winterpeg, but it's a really nice little area here. It's more like a large town than it is a small city.
nice. Yeah, I actually, just so you know, I cheered for Canada during the hockey tournament. I
uh,
did. I
um,
did. I'm a
I,
turncoat.
I'm not I'm not anti-hockey. It's just not my favorite of things. But it is always cool to see my own nation that's represented at the international level. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And they won, and
Yeah, and they
they
won. It was
should
a close
win.
game.
Yeah, it was
It
great
was a close
stuff.
game. No, that's pretty awesome.
But back to how your is there a physical copy of this comic coming out? Or is this something that people have held yet? Or
So during the first Kickstarter, there were physical issues that were given
okay.
out. I have a bunch here. We were talking about Comic Cons earlier.
Yeah.
Um, I think I may go to Winnipeg Comic Con this year. It's in October. It's usually a week before Halloween. I'm considering it in this second Kickstarter. You will be able to purchase issue one again and issue two. Issue one, you will only be able to get the main cover. the Jimbo Salgado cover, the one you've seen digitally.
Mm-hmm.
And for this second issue, it's actually 5 different covers. The first issue had 5. This one also has 5. So the main one, Kenny Calderon, is with all 5 characters. So at the end of the first issue, and it's been out for a while, I have no problem talking a little deeper into it. By the end of it, they're about to interrogate some smugglers. And issue number 2 picks up right where issue number 1 left off. And they end up climbing the ladder of is this the cause of that undead outbreak? So it's almost like Scooby-Doo adult version minus the dog. Like, let's see where this path goes. So the
But
main
you got a
issue,
lizard. You got a lizard.
yeah, instead of a dog, we've got Madracus who vomits lightning on things.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Rad.
the all 4 of them, you see them walking into a path that has a lot of overgrowth, and they're actually going into the equivalent of a distributor for this stuff. So in real life or in fantasy, if you're going to deal with sketchy things and you end up having inventory, you're probably going to have hired muscle. I can't get any deeper into that, but in that main cover, you get to see Kenny Calderon's art, Dan Kemp's cover or color on it, and it's a really beautiful. I know I sent that one to you. All the covers I sent.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, then there's 4 other covers and various different names. Jay Sloan, who did all the concept work in the first issue for the bios. That's the one of Chasgo, which we were talking about earlier. Madracus, somebody from Brazil. His name is Rod Ramos Rodolfo. Who's left? There's a stained glass image. That stained glass one that's drawn by Jenna Stark. That one's going to be metal foil because I wanted to add to that stained glass effect.
Wow.
So I
Cool.
think that's really going to like pop. A lot of people wanted me to make the Chasgo cover also metal foil, but I didn't want to take away from the stained glass cover. So the Chasgo art, I'm actually going to make it a pinup cover that's metal foil, which is really neat. It's an add-on you can get in this Kickstarter. Lastly, the last one to be finished made was by Russ Leach from the UK, and also Dan Kemp and his brother Dave have colored all of these issues for me. All of these covers, rather. So the last one is Stunanini, and he's getting surrounded by all of the undead. And I'm just looking forward to seeing when the actual logo's on it, and I can actually start showing people like, here they are. You see it in its entirety. I mean, don't get me wrong, the behind the scenes stuff is really cool, but when you actually see it, like the first time I did it, you see it with the title, it's wow, this is real now. There's no turning back. It's the real deal. We're gonna do this now.
I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah.
Wow, it's really exciting. Congratulations.
Seriously.
Very
Thank you.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, you're very different as far as the writers I've had on here before, because I haven't had too many that didn't write prose first. Like you dove right into comics from a D&D campaign. I jumped right into prose and writing a book from a D&D campaign, so it's a little different. You were basically writing scripts, and it
Yes.
works. This works for what you're doing. Writing process. I always ask folks this because music is huge for me. What is your process? What gets you inspired to write? What makes you sit down at the table and come up with the ideas? Is there anything? It could be coffee, it could be caffeine.
Yeah. So I love scenes and imagery. The problem for me is the organizational end and making sure a story can be justified up to that point. I've seen a couple of memes where it's like the average writer and it shows. Have you ever seen the different sections of a horse meme? It'll be like this movie in the trilogy was good, this one was terrible, and it's a stick version of that portion of the horse.
It looks like a kid drew it. Yeah.
You know, you know what I'm talking about. I've seen one of them, the meme. It's like a sliver of it is like the best charcoal detailed 3D looking drawing you can see, and the rest is stick figures, and it's captioned me thinking of a cool scene and trying to revolve a story around it. Now,
Sure.
I'm not of that extreme, but again, pragmatic paranoia. I want to make sure it flows. I focus really hard on making sure that the end product seems to be justified and it makes sense. It went that way eventually. So for me, I used an online platform called Roll20. It's for people to play D&D online. I made my own game for just me to play on. I used it as a sandbox. I made my own maps, and I actually moved the individuals around as icons and
Love it.
recorded my notes and then started fleshing it out more so from there. And
Oh,
that
cool.
seemed to be very helpful. The Secret War era of Marvel in the
Sure.
2005, 2006,
Yeah, the
2007 era.
second Secret Wars, right? Because I was around for the first one in the 80s.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying not Secret Wars.
Civil War?
Civil War.
Okay.
The first Civil
You
War.
might have. I might have misheard that. But yeah, so I was sure that was a great story. I love that.
So that one, there was so much going on there. Back at that time, Wizard Magazine was still a thing,
Oh,
and
I
I used
missed
to
them.
read. I miss Wizard a lot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you
All
can't
right,
afford
sorry,
every comic.
Erica.
But
Erica, we're geeking out right now. Sorry about that.
Do it.
so
I'm enjoying it.
Wizard Magazine is like I couldn't afford every comic, but I always got an issue of Wizard, and it would catch me up on the really cool stuff.
You are
That's
correct.
something I just really appreciate with that. Predated social media, predated all this stuff. That was see it on the rack, and they would talk about like 1980s The Dark Knight Returns, and here's a new thing with Lady Death
Yeah,
or
oh, Lady Death was huge back then. Yeah.
yeah, and I was there as I suffered through Wizard Magazine through the Clone Saga of Spider-Man and all that lovely stuff. But I was right there through the highs and the lows. Wizard was like really, really awesome. But anyways, I remember reading in Wizard Magazine about Civil War, and there was every possible hero in the Marvel universe that lived on Earth at the time was almost all involved. And when you have multiple different monthly issues and multiple different story arcs all revolving around this one theme, apparently the writers and the editors were actually using post-it notes with characters' names on it and putting it on boards to shift them around at different scenes. And that way, there's always that one eagle-eyed fan that'd be like, that person shouldn't be there in the background. They're actually here at this time. That doesn't work. You should get your details right. So I remember reading about that. So that's
Dude,
why I did
you said post-its.
a.
Look,
There it is, right there.
that's how I
Exactly.
work. That's how I work. I drive my wife crazy. They're all over the house. All over the my boss found one sitting on my desk at work and unfortunately read it. And it's just, like open pit, blood, an arm laying down, and the girl is dead. Like, is this some kind of ransom note? Do we have
You
to
doing
report
all right,
you?
David?
HR.
That's
Anyway,
great.
but post-it notes.
But for me, I just use Rule 20 instead of the post-it notes because it was a little bit better of a visual.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it was very, very very beneficial to exercise my mind and see it all out and then put in the bullet points of my story and then flesh out the sentences and all of the dialogue and to fit it in 3 issues, well, I had to make sure to expand and condense in a healthy way on certain scenes to make sure it fit. So I was yeah, very happy to organize my thoughts as a visual like that.
You did. And I think Erica will definitely agree with me on this one. As far as flow, the story, my God, there was never a question that this, the way it flowed, it's almost like this really happened somewhere. It was so natural from one
Yeah.
frame to the next.
Thank
And
you.
all the way from even the arc in somebody's grin under their eye or just the facial expressions, like you kind of, if that was a silent comic, which is silly to say, but if you had no word bubbles, you still know what's going on. And it's amazing like that. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I
Thank
know.
you.
I love indie comics. I buy horror comics. I buy independent art. I stray from DC and Marvel quite a bit. And in doing that, sometimes you get what you pay for. Sometimes you don't, and sometimes you don't know what's actually happening, and you feel bad for who did that. Like, but you know what they went through to get there. And I've had
Yes.
stuff too. I mean, I can't draw, so I know what. I did 27 issues of my own thing, but only I know what's going on. So, but
Right.
I mean, it's clear. And the relationships, you know these people within a page, these people are established friends.
Yes, one
Yeah.
thing I've been commemorated on for The very first page, be it I didn't intend it this way, but it just naturally played out accordingly. I'm just looking up an image for you guys. But the way it was, the first page, I introduced 3 of the 4 characters.
Yes.
And apparently it was, for me, it was nonchalant, but it's apparently a big deal that I was able to put so much with so little at the front like that.
We didn't mention all the characters' names. You got, is it Dunnan or Doonan?
Dunnan
Dunnan,
Eni, he's a little half
like a
dwarf, half gnome. He's a dwarf that can't grow a beard, essentially.
right. And we've got a dwarf, axe wielding dwarf
hmm
named Sarlacc, I believe.
Sarlacc Swamp Trudger.
Yes.
He's actually, he comes
Right
from a
there.
group of dwarfs that left the mountain range. They wanted to like farm and not mine anymore. So as stubborn dwarves tend to go, they decided to start farming in a swampland.
Hmm.
Over time, their people and their culture, they are able to there's no way around it. They terraform the swamp. They build their way out and make it a nicer place. And because of that, and being in a fantasy setting, there's going to be things that bump in the night that live in a swamp setting. So culturally, Sarlacc's specific group of dwarf background, they're very good at hunting down and pacifying creatures. And so he worships this thing called the divine, as you see a little bit about that mentioned, and
A
his
little bit.
he has a humble church, and he felt the calling to move to Ivywood at a younger age, where he wants to help those less fortunate, and he doesn't want to ram his beliefs down people's throats, but he just feels like he's making a difference. And um, some people would refer to it as witnessing through action. And his temperament is the equivalent of like a long fuse to a large cannon, if you will. So
Love it.
I had a lot of joy in showing the contrasts of those two things. Somebody that wants to be nice and inclusive, but also somebody who can sneak out of the city grounds and stop an issue that's affecting the city.
Mm.
So at
Mhm.
one point, when Madracus is teasing Sarlacc and says, "Do you have anything better than a good axe?" which is mentioned earlier in the story, and Sarlacc says, "Yes, a great one." And he has his battle axe, and he has what looks like more, uh, almost like ranger-esque. It's swamp like attire, something he would wear out in the wild.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Sarlacc was a lot of fun to put together.
Oh, everything about it. The characters pop. I mean, they just do. I already feel like I know
Yeah.
them, and I don't want it to end in 3 issues, but I guess you have plans. I can't get in the way of that.
Well, to be honest, I have a bunch of lore about all these characters. So if I wanted to continue, I definitely can.
I figured that. I knew you would.
Okay.
A DM always knows and has the final say. I have the T-shirt that says that. That's
Well,
why it's
one of the
lore.
interesting things that one people found this interesting. I wanted to make sure the story felt like the world existed before the story began and it
Mhm.
existed after the 3 issues. That was very important to me. There's a tough balance of, pardon me, there's
That's
a tough
Matrakas right
balance.
now. He wants his fire back.
Yeah, what he wants is royalty checks, I guess.
Good
But
luck.
I really, really wanted people to feel like they were dropped in a setting. So there's a balance of you want them to be able to follow along, but I also wanted them to feel like there's certain things, like mild things they didn't quite fully understand. If you were subjected in a circle of people who are you didn't know at all, but they were all friends, they're probably going to say the random inside joke that's not going to click with you and little things like that. I wanted to make sure there's a bit of that feeling to add to the depth of a history amongst these people.
I love it because yeah, I can see that, and I always yeah,
Yeah.
you go in feeling that
Detail.
you miss something. I don't know, Eric,
Yes.
how you felt when you looked at it, but didn't you feel like you're coming in on something that already happened, type of thing?
Yeah, yeah. It did give the vibe like you're coming in on a group of buddies that have their own thing going on, and
Yes.
you're peeking into their world.
Yeah. That was definitely the intention.
That's
Right. Well,
great.
I mean, we're fans, and you're
Thank
always
you.
welcome back here.
Yeah,
But
good.
I want you to give out your socials and get people to get to that Kickstarter. Any way to find it, or I don't know if you're going to present it digitally. Put that all out there for us.
Sure. So we'll start with Facebook. You can find me as DM Ray, and you could also find the MADCAPS page on Facebook. You could also find me on Instagram and what I like to call Twixter as at Raymond the DM. So DM Ray unfortunately was taken for those two. Those are all the critical social medias I have right now. This Kickstarter, it launches April 1st. It's issues 1 and 2. And like I said before, if you have good friends that you don't get to see too often and you really get to enjoy their company, or you really do enjoy their company, the few times rather that you get to actually hang out,
Mm.
you will definitely be able to feel that in this book. This book, you don't have 60 years worth of lore that you have to know to understand the book. There's no insider trading baseball or anything like that. It is beginning, middle, end, 3 issues. Every issue builds off of the last. By the time we get to issue 3, it hits and it hits hard, and there's a big payoff.
Oh man,
So
Great.
don't tell me you have to kill your babies, do you? Don't don't answer that.
I'm
Don't
not going to lie to you. So see you later.
Ah, damn. I didn't want to hit on, but you know what? You did something right there. The whole camaraderie thing, something we're all missing right now. I don't know how it is where you are right now, sir, but camaraderie is missing here.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
connecting with
sure.
old friends, here with Erica and some of my friends, it's been difficult. And bringing that together, you brought it together, and I hope that you accomplish your task ultimately with that. I'll be reading,
Yeah,
I'll be owning it. I want to get my
absolutely.
physical copies.
Right on.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Erica? You think he nailed it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Nailed it.
thank you very much.
You got the feels.
The best way to put it all together, like I was mentioning, camaraderie, but it's in the theme of medieval fantasy,
Mhm.
told through the medium of comic book. So 3 issues. It's very easy to absorb, and I try really hard to make it something that somebody can intake and enjoy, be it the dialogue or the lack thereof. I love visuals. Making the script was a lot of fun, and it's torture not sharing the things that I have. Would I be able to share one image? It will
Uh,
be exclusive to you folks.
uh,
Ooh.
okay, but others will hear it.
I'm okay with that.
Go for it, man.
When
Yeah,
when you here, I'm going to send
yeah,
a
because I got a
request
little
to share.
exclusive thing I want to do with you as well. But go ahead.
Sweet. Okay, I sent request.
I allowed.
All right,
Here we go.
so share there. This is the black and white ink work of page 1 of issue 2. There you go.
It's coming through.
Oh, cool.
So these interiors were done by Victor Medina. Unfortunately, Evan Quiring is he's busy. So as I mentioned before, Lucha Mystery, Murder City Devil, and Victor Medina has definitely stepped up here. So like I said before, he had that interruption with the California fires,
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
all
and
Yeah.
great.
this is
We
only
pray for
one
those.
page. I've got lots more to show off, but this with a literal Spawn colorist who did over 25% of Spawn's current flagship title, or Todd's rather, Spawn. It's going to have that talent on the current talent you see. You can see the 2 individuals from the when they intercepted the smugglers,
Yes.
and they're still in the middle of the river, and you can still see a little bit of the cart tilted over on its side, and
Oh man.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
That,
That's
So
great.
I
Thanks
have
for
not
sharing that.
shown anybody that yet. So when this goes live, you will be the exclusive on this image.
oh boy, I'll have to get this up as soon as possible.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for doing that, for sharing that. I love it.
Thanks for sharing that. That's great.
Right on. I'm
I
gonna
so
stop sharing
appreciate
here.
that. Yeah, man. No, don't worry, it's safe here, but they have to. But yeah, this is kind of funny. I'm gonna share something right now because this is me giving back to independent artists right now. I came across this comic book right here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It says you see
Yet.
Yeah, it's all right. It's
Yeah.
just a black and white little ditty here, but and I got it a long time ago. Now what I'm doing, I don't know how well you guys remember old comic books, but the reason why I'm doing this because I'm gonna make this interactive. At the end of the book, like old school style, you could send away for action figures, tattoos, weapons sometimes.
Of course, yes.
Chinese throwing stars back in the 80s. But yeah, I'm gonna actually contact this is about this goes back about 5 to 10 years. I gotta see if I can still get this action figure of the Yets. I'm gonna contact them through actual snail mail and see if I can do that and then contact this artist. So
That'd be great.
let's see if they're still they probably have like one dusty toy sitting there and maybe issue two and I can
You're
get
like sold.
I hey, I'm here to
Interesting.
pay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna try that out. And Erika might be interested in this too. I know I am. There's questions we ask folks that come in here all the time. Do you have three favorite horror movies?
Three favorite horror movies. Okay, so um, I get flack for this is my shoot from the hip reaction, the very first one.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I was 18, I lived on my parents' 48-acre farm. It had a quarter-mile driveway, and the half of the driveway that was closest to the road was covered in forest. In other words, you could not see the house from the road and vice versa.
Mm.
So, um, my parents were not farmers, but they rented out all of their land for actual farmers. During the summer I was 18, it was all corn. The
Mm.
whole damn thing except for the forest, the driveway, and the house. Everything else just surrounded in corn.
I know where you're going.
Go for it.
Well, I can say Children of the Corn, he who walks behind the rose.
No, no. I saw this in theater the very same summer,
Oh,
and
Signs.
yes, yes. So,
Oh,
I mean, that story has a lot of flaws. Don't get me wrong,
oh, I
but
like it. I'm a
I
big
I
fan of that
like it. One of the best things when Shyamalan is in his prime is
one.
he's really good at getting you caught up in something, even if it's illogical. And
Yeah,
that story,
lately he's
despite its flaws,
pissed me off, but yeah.
but when I saw that in theater, my stomach was a knot until Meryl grabbed that bat, which is exactly what Shyamalan wants you
Yeah.
to not feel the knots anymore. But when I went home for 2 weeks, every door in that house, I would kind of like open it up a little bit and look around and then walk through. It just had me. Eh?
Nice.
That's my shoot for the hip. These aren't in any specific order. Now,
All right.
other horror
Yeah.
movies. Um, One that really hits with me. I shouldn't say hits with me. They do just do a good job with the presentation, and there was a lot of thought put in it. Was the original Conjuring. The other ones I could care less about. I'm not too impressed. That first one though, um, even just at one point, the sound of like all the pictures coming off the wall and shattering, that was a huge jump scare, and it's just sound. Like nothing really happened. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously something happened, but nothing of significance. Or the one time with a girl looking for a ball and then it gets thrown back out to her, or the
Oh yeah.
hands,
Oh,
Yeah.
the
that's
hands
creepy.
that put out
Oh
the
yeah.
candle.
That was good.
If that one, or when the sheet comes off of the clothesline and it looks like a person, and then it blows away and the person's not there. There was
That's
never a
Badass.
creepy.
person there.
That's badass.
Um, yeah, that one, its timing and its delivery, I think, is just sound. And then for the last one, um, one of the first horror movies I ever saw that I didn't sleep right for the better part of a year when I was a kid. We saw it on video rental, was Fire in the Sky.
Oh, Travis
Creepy.
Walton, the Travis Walton story.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yes.
one when I was a
That was a weird one.
child,
Yes, it
to
was.
see that abduction scene when the guy starts remembering, it just keeps getting worse and worse. First, he just wakes up in this
Yes.
thing, and then he can't control himself because there's no gravity.
Gravity.
And he
Yeah.
crashes into something, and there's half a person there.
And then,
And
yeah.
then
Uh,
then he finds, oh, it's a
Yeah.
spacesuit, and one of them grabs on. He kicks the helmet off, and it's got an even uglier face. And then they all grab him and drag him out, and there's like kids' toys and glasses floating around,
So
and
scary.
like
no, real.
that really, really, it had such an effect on me as a kid. When I was older and I could watch it online, I had to sit there and, I mean, it still holds up, but you don't it obviously wasn't the way you remember it as a kid. So I was able to process and get it. It had such an impact on me as a kid. I had to watch it again to get it out of my system. I don't know how to put it.
Erica, you
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
a big one. Yeah, I
That-
remember watching that one when I was a kid too, and that really weirded me out.
Oh man. Yeah,
It
that was
changed my trajectory in life. I always wanted to get beamed up and taken away. And after I saw that, I didn't want to anymore.
Never
And
mind.
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
hold that
thanks,
thought.
no thanks.
There's still times I'm kind of like, oh yeah, please get me the fuck out of here. But Fire in the Sky, that did you ever see the real Travis Walton talk about it? This documentary you can see tonight. It's on one of the
I've seen him interviewed a couple of times.
channels.
It obviously the movie is it's a movie. Movies always embellish and stuff.
Right.
Um, yeah, interesting listening to that fella talk.
Yeah. You are the first person in 310 episodes to bring up that one as a favorite. And I forgot it is actually a favorite of mine. That goes hand in hand with Communion, Whitley Strieber's story, with Christopher Walken, of course, playing the prime role. Yeah, that good pick, man. You definitely
Yeah.
Thank you.
Erica, you got anything else for Ray? I mean, he's blown me away tonight. I do have one more, but
I'm really happy for you that you're able to make your dream come true,
Thanks,
and you
man.
have some really solid artists and people working with you, and yeah, I mean, living the dream, right?
Excuse me. I've been drinking pop. This is my non-sponsor here.
you're
It's always
fine.
sponsor.
Hey, we got Pepsi here, but it's PMAD. That's the band I had on last
Ah,
time.
I
So
like
you'll
it.
call it pop in Winnipeg. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's like back home in Pittsburgh, they call it pop.
You call it pop.
Yeah, they do
Soda
that here
pop.
too. Mm.
We call everything
Apparently,
Coke down here.
apparently, if you go, yeah, I was going to say, in the southern states, they refer to all different
Coke.
pop or soda as Cokes. Do you want a
Everything's a
Coke?
Oh,
Coke.
yeah. Yes, everything's a Coke. Yeah. What
Yeah,
flavor Coke
that's
do you want? Yeah.
yeah. What kind of
Yep.
Coke do you want?
It's bizarre.
Vanilla. I don't know.
Well, yeah, we have cousins. I have cousins in Texas, but they live out. They're actually were evacuated from the LA fires there, and they made it out.
Mhm.
Everything's good with them. I'm glad your folks are okay too. And people
Yeah.
that want to contribute, donate to the Red Cross. That's the way to go for those people. And I feel for all those folks out there. So
Hmm.
we try to help
Absolutely.
if we can. A little awareness there. And Erica had a milestone. Ray, we should have let you in on that earlier, but there's a compilation CD, or they're actually streaming on Spotify right now. I was gonna say overdraft protection. Oh my god, for ODing, for OD, for oh my god, that's I'm sorry, Erica,
All
but
good.
it's
No, I like
it's for yeah, I know, right? I made a funny there out of something dark. Yeah, it's for OD awareness basically, and it's a Devo inspired compilation by various artists, and they songs inspired by Devo, and it's called Devoted, Devo-Ted, Devoted, on Holy Crap Records. You can see them on Instagram. And is it Bandcamp, or what did we say earlier, Erica?
I think just on Spotify right now. And I
Spotify
think
right
if you
now.
contact them, you can get a hard copy of the album on a CD. It's cool. They send you a zine, a little kit with I can't remember the name of the drug, but they give you two of them. Starts with an N. But anyway, so yeah, they just said, feel free to distribute that as needed. And I think it's really cool what they're doing. They got a good
Interesting.
cause, and all the money from the album goes directly to this institution. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Very
definitely check
interesting.
it out.
Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, and her band Party Bulb appear on there. We're gonna go out with Defecate a Rainbow.
Defecate a rainbow.
Yes, we're gonna go out with that.
I can't believe I heard that. That puts the
Yeah,
deaf
Keeping it
in
classy
defecate.
here.
we are Devo from Ohio.
I
OHIO.
love it.
But are they really from OHIO, Erica? I've heard things that some of them may have been from New York and started in 1972, but that's a
Ooh,
story for
that's
another
another
time.
story.
We're gonna have an expert on here in the coming shows. What kind of music do you listen to before we let you go there, Ray?
Oh, you know what? I frustrate every person when I answer that because I don't base my music off of any performer or any genre. It depends on the song.
I
My
frustrate people just
Mhm.
by living, so you're doing
my
okay.
my playlist is the most eclectic thing. It could be something from I don't know, man. I can't even think because it's just such a wide range. This includes something like lyricless orchestrated music. So you
Hmm.
could have something like the Jurassic Park soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
There's
Right on.
I don't know, random metal bands that are not as popular now as they used to be. I don't know, Nightwish. Like how often do you hear about Nightwish nowadays? But then there'll be like something like Sam Cooke. I've got quite a few Sam Cookes on that
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
playlist, all over the place. Uh, kids theme songs to like shows and well, it's all over the
Well,
place.
that's very Devo of you because Rugrats was them as well.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right
Dude,
on.
you fit in the Kettle Whistle Radio family, man. We you got to come back, and I
Thank you.
intend at some point to have all three of those issues in my hands, and I can't wait. I look forward to it. So please stay in touch. All our episodes, folks, they should know you can go to fairlydarkproductions.com and you can find everything there, including that trailer that Erika did for me. That's on there. And also, of course, celebrationofspirits.com. That's for artists everywhere. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Welcome listeners from there. And what am I forgetting, Erica? Is that everything?
I think you covered it, man.
I think I did. I think I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on Spotify, so that's a good thing. You go back, listen to some of the tunes. Maybe you'll find some music there that you'll like. Right.
Right on.
All right. And hey, thank you so much for doing this, and good luck to you with everything you do.
Yeah. Thanks,
Um,
Ray.
Appreciate it.
check us out. Check out, and I think Erica might get in touch with you for some voice work on her show sometime. She
I'm
may
in.
send you some
Heck yeah.
lines.
Yeah. Be on the
Awesome.
lookout.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks,
Well,
Ray.
I'm gonna
Happy
say
to be on.
goodnight, and we're gonna go out with Party Bulbs, their Devo-Ted song on the Devo-Ted Devo compilation inspiration album, and we're gonna go out with what is the song again, Erica?
Defecate a rainbow from Party Bulb.
I just like to make her say stupid shit. Good night, folks. Yeah, something I wanted to ask you about, I almost missed. Page 21 stuck out for me, with the wagon and the moon in the background. I have a thing for ever since the land that time forgot, where you see the ship heading to the island, and obviously you've got the crew, they're about to have the adventure of a lifetime or death time. But that wagon going over the bridge and there's the moon in the background just kind of excites me, like what are they in for? And it's a beautiful picture, the moon, and it's a simple one, and I love that one. The other one I really liked was on page 24, the final scene, where like an interrogation type situation.
Something about secrets.
Yeah, and they're just all looking down at the camera basically, and the guy's face is right there. I love that, and it was a great ending, great way to end. But
So
every frame was amazing. So
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
that's rough.
One thing about the wagon going over the bridge with the moon in the background, I'm pretty sure you saw it, but some people overlook. You can actually see Madrakis and Sarlacc really, really tiny at the on the foreground of the bridge.
Yeah,
It's
I look
ever
for
so
those.
tiny. But I loved the whole setup and throwing them together and getting ready for this ambush. The only reason it really worked as Chasgo was writing in the dialogue, it just they had surprise as their advantage. And he says, "Well, we didn't expect this cart to fall over, but if we're nothing if not flexible," and
Man,
came
and
together
that
nice.
just amazing. And this again, this is DM Ray. The MADCAPS is the comic, and you could find him well on Facebook as DM Ray. That's how I found him, or you found me. I'm not sure how we found each other. Comic book algorithms. But yeah, hey, this was fun. I appreciate you coming on.
Right on, man.
All right. And I'm going to stop that there. And that, yeah, I'll